Corona Cigar Company is your one-stop shop for all your cigar needs. Whether that's a brand new humidor, a box of those new cigars you've been waiting for, a top-of-the-line cutter or lighter, a place to enjoy the finest cigars and spirits with friends, or the only cigars grown right here in the Sunshine State, we've got you covered. Come visit one of our retail locations for the ultimate cigar experience. Visit us online at coronacigar.com.
How about that cigar?
How about that cigar?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Corona Cigar Studios for episode 259 of How About That Cigar Live. Thank you so much for joining us live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and
Rumble.
We're so grateful to have you guys with us. If you would please take just a minute, click on all those big, beautiful buttons, the like button, the subscribe button, and all that wonderful stuff. We are so grateful to have you with us. And of course, if you're listening after the fact on the audio podcast, thank you for making How About That Cigar part of your regular audio podcast rotation. A beautiful evening here in Minnesota.
So,
I feel like we haven't done this in months, but we only took a week off.
Finally, How About That Cigar is back live.
It's back. Doesn't it feel like months?
It does.
I don't know why.
I miss you guys.
Every time we take a week off for a holiday, it just seems like it's been a long break.
I miss you.
I miss
you.
Are
hey,
you
let's get that long-haired hippie freak.
Doing the heart.
I can't do it.
The long-haired hippie freak. But he doesn't have long hair. He's got a long.
It's reverse, but it's long, still long.
Reverse hippie. Is that like Rumpelstiltskin?
Maybe.
Say what?
Justin, what's going on?
What
brother?
are you guys talking about?
I don't know. We're out of practice. We got to get back in like the groove of things. At least we remember to introduce you this time, Justin.
Yeah.
There were a couple weeks that was like.
Hey,
I was up
I'm
in
here,
smoke,
guys.
baby.
I'm here, guys.
I was up in smoke. That's all it was. Invisible.
Man, it's so weird how you take just 1 week off from doing the show and it's like learning how to ride a bike all over again. It's it feels like it's been forever, but
You can't just jump on like everybody else.
It's been
me.
almost a month since we've been in the studio.
That's true because the last show we did was 2 weeks ago, and that show was from
More than 2 weeks.
the Haddon in it was exactly 2 weeks ago. Yeah, the Haddon in Minneapolis, when we had that insane storm. Oh, and by the way, driving home, I shit you not even 2 minutes down the road on the way home from doing that show,
What?
serpentine belt popped, flew right off my car.
Oh my god.
So
why did you call us?
I tried.
He tried calling me.
I tried. So
I have my phone.
I mean, fortunately, we're AAA members. So, but
Good.
unfortunately, you know,
I would have stopped and had to stick with you while you waited.
somebody said so. So imagine it's late in Minneapolis and you ask for a tow truck. How quickly do you think somebody wants to drive a tow truck in Minneapolis?
Probably at least an hour that late at night.
I got home at 2:30 a.m.
Like I said, you should have called me. We would have
Yeah.
to stick while we're waiting. How many cigars you smoke?
2.
Okay.
2.
Oh,
And the
shit.
tow truck driver let me smoke in his truck.
There you
Nice.
go.
Did you give him
Oh,
one?
it ended
So
up
I
working
did.
out.
Nice.
Yeah, I gave him a few cigars.
Ended up
So-
working out.
Yeah.
Did you learn any lessons?
Check your serpentine belt more often.
But was the overall experience okay? Were you still happy at the end of the day, even though it helped, or did you?
Yeah, I was exhausted, but
right.
I felt good.
Just
I felt
happened,
good.
right?
We need to address this right here.
What are we
Chase.
addressing?
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Jesse's thing here.
Ooh, hey,
Because I've
Justin.
gotten that from a couple guys.
Yeah.
No,
So yes,
not Jesus to Justin.
Oh. I was like, wait. Thank you, Jesus.
yes. There's a glitch with the audio podcast.
Okay.
The glitch's name is Matt.
Matt.
So that's me. That's this guy right here.
So we just need him to upload it. Is that what you're saying?
I need to, because I have to record intros for him and stuff like that, and I fell behind. I apologize for that. I am going to get those up to speed tonight, actually, after we're done with this episode.
And Jesus, thank you, brother.
Yes.
Thank you. We know.
Yes, congratulations.
All right, so the Twins
are in third place.
Twins are in third place. They're slipping.
2.5 games out of a wild card.
They're slipping. Last I saw, New York was in sole possession of first, but now they're a half game behind.
No, a half a game.
A half a game ahead. Okay, so the Yankees are doing pretty well.
And my Jets are losing by 14. No, 7.
Yeah, Jets last I saw was 13-7. San Francisco over the Jets.
The Vikings looked very good this weekend.
So yeah, NFL season has begun.
And And my
Me
wife
being-
won't see me on Sundays anymore.
Me being a Green Bay Packers fan, very sad to see Jordan Love get hurt at the very end of the game on Friday, the game in Brazil. We had differing reports. Like some people say 3 to 4 weeks. Some people say I've heard 4 to 6. If it's 6 weeks, that could be the season for Green Bay.
I think Green Bay should sue the NFL for making them go down to Brazil.
Go down to Brazil and play on
a soccer field.
That mud pit of a field. It was ridiculous.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. No, it was not both games scored a lot of points, but in the end, Jordan Love just got hurt.
What else is going on locally this week?
Locally,
big event.
Just a few days from now.
I just found out about this yesterday, I think. But what is it? Is this what it is?
That's what.
That's exactly what it is. Just 3 days from now.
3 days.
So September 12th.
I think we might show up.
We might show up. We'll definitely show up.
I mean, I'm showing up. I don't know about you guys.
So Cigars and Baseball. This is going to be our 4th year covering cigars and baseball. A fantastic event. This is actually at a live baseball games, multiple, at CHS Field in St. Paul, Minnesota. This is where the St. Paul Saints play baseball. This is Cigars and Baseball. You're going to have local food, local breweries, local distilleries. Some fantastic
silent auction.
Yeah.
Silent auctions.
Huge prizes.
Bunch of cigars. And the best thing about the cigars that are going to be there, 3 are local brands.
3 are local. Yeah.
We got Founders, we have Crux, and we have Marco V's.
That's right. So, and I will say for me, the best thing about Cigars and Baseball, as much fun as it is, because it is a great blast of a fun event with the best Midwest cigar smokers around. And you get to walk around this beautiful baseball concourse while there's live baseball being played on the field, while you're enjoying your cigars and your lovely beverages and some great local food. At the same time, every penny of the proceeds from your tickets and from the silent auction and a lot of other things there go directly to benefit the Miracle League, which puts together baseball facilities for, I found out recently, I thought it was just kids, but it's kids and adults with disabilities.
And also, all the cigars there are pretty much donated. They pay for cost.
That's right.
So thank all the vendors that are going to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll be there, and we'll be going live multiple times throughout the day while we are at Cigars and Baseball this year. So
I think we're going to have fun.
And
check it out.
David Floyd, no, they don't let anybody smoke there any other time. This is just for the event, which is very unique in a baseball field if everybody's not aware. But it's for this event. We get to smoke in the actual field or on the stands and watch the games live.
Absolutely.
So what goes best with the cigar and baseball? A beer?
Yeah.
I prefer the food myself.
Yeah.
They should have some craft soda for us.
We should start
I think there is a craft soda place.
Is there?
I think there's a craft soda place.
We're going to break some other things in the market soon.
Yeah.
Should we get into this evening's
We
Spirit of
should, and I
Mystery?
can tell you what you're drinking, or at least I'll give you hints of what.
So, Spirit of Mystery brought to us by our friends from Postania Cigars. Do you find yourself unsatisfied with the top 10 list from How About That Cigar? Are you wondering how cigars from Postania didn't make the HBTC list, but found their way on to other lists? Well, fortunately, you can be reminded every week with this Postania Cigars advertisement. Postania Cigars, the #1 unranked cigar in the industry.
So this is tonight, our Spirit of Mystery is an American whiskey, 6 years old.
6 years old.
Limited edition, cabinet cask finish.
American whiskey or bourbon whiskey?
American whiskey.
American whiskey. 6 years old, cabinet cask finish.
And
it's really dark.
It's 92 proof.
This looks darker than a 6 year. This is a really nice color. It's got good body to it. The aroma is really good.
I thought so too. I thought it smelled delicious.
Okay. That's got some familiar stuff going on there. I mean, it's definitely got it drinks like a bourbon. It drinks like a bourbon, but there's kind of you do get that cask finish on there though. Is it a wine cask or is it a rum cask? I don't know, but I'm getting sweet notes at the end.
Cabernet, that's all it said. Cabernet's wine, right?
Oh, Cabernet.
Let me see you later.
Cabernet. It's good. It's good. I like this bourbon or this whiskey so far. So I'll keep drinking it throughout the show and try to take a swing at guessing on what the Spirit of Mystery is later in the show. But let's get our special guest of the evening on the show. And special guest on How About That Cigar Live, brought to us by our friends at Drew Estate. And for the first time ever, Drew Estate has given fans a sneak peek of the brand behind a Freestyle Live event pack, Deadwood Cigars. But consumers get to guess which of the Deadwood girls is making her debut. Each FSL pack is priced at $40 and includes 3 mystery premium cigars, a Freestyle Live torch lighter, cigar cutter, and ashtray. Each pack comes with a QR code for entry into a sweepstakes featuring a grand prize of a Harley-Davidson Fat Boy 11. Second prize is a $4,500 custom humidor, and 10 lucky winners will snag a custom ashtray from Subculture Studios. For more information, please visit drewestate.com.
And the event goes live August 21st.
Is that August? We already had August 21st.
Did it pass?
That's when they did their.
So when's the event actually pop off?
When the reveal of which Deadwood it is, I don't know if they've announced that yet.
Interesting.
So I'll see if I can find out. That's right. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you would please put your hands together without further ado. Welcome to episode 259 of How About That Cigar Live. Scott and John from Warfighter Tobacco Company. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
It's good to be here.
So, how are you guys doing?
Good. Thanks for having us on. It's nice to my drink of choice is not a mystery tonight, though. But,
what is it?
It's just Jameson.
Yep.
Jameson. One of our go-tos.
When you were going over the descriptions for it, you're like, it smells like bourbon, and I almost wanted to be like, well, it looks like bourbon. I guess it tastes like, so it's got to be bourbon.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I just read what's on the bottle. It said American whiskey.
There you go.
So, guys, thanks so much for being on the show. We appreciate it so much. One of the things we love doing on the show is learning about brands that are up and coming. And a great idea that Raul had was to have veteran-owned companies on throughout the month of September. So,
I like it.
First and foremost, for you and all those who wear it now and have worn the uniform, thanks for your service.
I appreciate you guys.
So, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we actually, a couple weeks ago, we just had a conversation about this when people thank us for our service.
Yeah.
And we came up with a couple kind of go-to responses.
I like it.
And the one that I found that I think I like the most is you were worth it.
That's good.
That's a good one. I like that.
I just noticed how ugly of a hat you had on.
Oh, you like that one?
Yankees. Yeah. Well, he said he bartended in Boston for 4 years.
But it slipped his mind to say
you think he's not going to be wearing a sock?
No, I did. I said any Boston sports
Patriots fan.
Yeah.
If you're a Patriot,
you didn't say you were a Sox.
If you're a Patriots fan, you're a Sox fan. You're a Bruins.
Just by default. I was born there. I didn't have a choice in the matter.
I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Yeah. How are your Jets doing?
Oh, hey,
they're undefeated so far this year.
Really? It's halftime right now.
Only for a few more minutes.
Silence, Green Bay Packers. Always.
I don't know if you guys can see that. Oh, you can't at all, but it's 16-7 right now.
16-7.
They got another field goal. That's good. Fuckers.
So before we get into talking about the company, Warfighter Tobacco Company, I want to ask each of you, and Scott, let's start with you, just because I want to start with you. Talk to us about your military service and when you served and what your specialty was.
Yeah. So actually, John's going to be a big part of my answer.
What?
Stolen
valor.
So
Stolen valor.
Ouch.
So I joined the Army and actually I joined the National Guard in '97 when I was still a junior in high school. Then when I graduated, I went active duty, and I was in the 101st Airborne Division till 2007. I got out, And actually, John and I were in the same platoon. We were both infantry guys.
We served together in the same platoon. We were together from 01 to 04.
Yeah, and so halfway through a deployment into Iraq in 03, we were in the same platoon, and then I moved on to the scout section, and I was a sniper and sniper instructor until I finished out my time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. And John, what about you?
So I was infantry as well. And I joined in 2000, and I was at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, 101st Airborne from 2001 to 2004. And then I actually did a year in the Guard afterwards in 05 and realized that it's not my cup of tea. But yeah, Scott and we were in the same platoon together. We deployed together 03, 04. I was a machine gunner and then a machine gun team leader. I was a rifleman.
Yeah, I was a machine gunner, and then
I took over his gun.
He took over my machine gun, and then so it's
Yep. But yeah, and then just to kind of jump into the story time because it leads into it really well. So I got out of the military completely out in 05. Scott got out in 07, and then we didn't really talk until like 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
We did a platoon reunion in West Virginia, and we got really drunk on moonshine.
Nice.
And in their drunken state, I was like, Scott had a gun store at the time, and I was like, I need to come sell guns with you. Scott's like, yeah, this is gonna be great. And then sober the next morning, both of us were like, hey, were we serious about that?
Yeah.
And then about 10 months later, I ended up moving from Europe to Nebraska to work at Scott's gun store. And then about a year after that, we spun up Warfighter.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. I just realized Raul reminded me.
We got to pay the bills real quick, guys.
Pay the bills.
Get them.
Well, and I so this isn't going to be like a fresh toast. It's a relight because I let my cigar go out.
It's been sitting there for 6 hours. You should probably
6 hours.
6 hours.
Like 6 minutes.
Same thing. Dog years.
You exaggerate all your numbers.
I tell my wife 12 inches.
Some more than others.
Honey, that's really 12 inches. I'm not kidding, honey.
All right, let me get my cigar fired up on the Cigar Toast Cam. Cigar is the leading cigar accessory brand with innovative butane lighters, precision cigar cutting instruments, travel cases, and humidors. Each product is designed and manufactured with the utmost precision and attention to detail. The result is a range of products that exude quality and refinement, reflecting the brand's dedication to excellence. For more information, please visit Cigar.com.
There we go. That's the bills paid. That's part of the bills paid.
So,
gentlemen, what are you smoking?
Yeah, tell us what you're smoking.
So this is a Gurkha. No, I'm kidding.
You know Raul very well, don't you?
So I'm smoking one of our new night shift cigars. We released this last year at PCA, and it's absolutely delicious. But I've had, I don't even know how many cigars earlier today. So yeah.
I'm smoking our Garrison Rosado, and I don't know, for some reason this Rosado, it's I smoke a lot of these.
It's kind of your go-to.
It's kind of my go-to. Yeah. But
so unfortunately, guys, I forgot to remind you guys to send us a package of cigars, but we are smoking. We are all smoking the cigar from OGT. Oak Glen
Tobacconist,
which we had on a show a few weeks ago.
Yeah, from their monthly subscription. Stallone.
Oh yeah, I've had that one.
Yeah, the stallions like you guys, so we thought we'd smoke. So now all three of us are smoking it.
So the origins of Warfighter Tobacco Company. I would imagine, that you guys were both consumers of cigars before you sat down and said, "Hey, let's start a cigar company." So, how'd you get into cigars, and how did that lead to the formation of Warfighter Tobacco?
That picture right there, I took in a rooftop in Baghdad.
Wow.
Yeah, and so we were smoking. I'm assuming they were probably like horribly fake Cubans. Yeah. They might have been real. Who knows?
They might have been real, but they were real dry.
They're really dry.
Isn't everything over there dry? I mean, I got to imagine it is.
Yeah, there was nothing. except for when it rained, and then it was just
there was
miserable.
Like in 03, like there was no Cigars for Warriors. There was no like we were there for the initial push. There was no way to like take care of a cigar.
No.
Yeah, and the ones you bought on the local economy, they didn't have like humidors or it was just sitting there in the open air. Like you're taking what you're getting.
Yeah, but no, and like the kind of shitty part is if we would have known like 03, 04 what we were gonna do 10 years later,
right?
Like we would have got some awesome content, like awesome content.
We have a lot of cool content that don't involve cigars.
Yeah,
but they would have involved.
We can't
cigars.
use it. Like it doesn't really relate, and like we don't do hype videos of ourselves and like our military experience and careers and stuff. Like we had fun. We did a job. It was great. We have some of the most amazing people in the world, but we don't embellish in it, and we don't make that our focus. I mean, it's kind of hard to say that because our company's called Warfighter.
Well, Warfighter as a brand is it's not us.
It's bigger than us.
Yeah, it's bigger than us.
For that Warfighter.
Yeah,
it's for, whether it's military or not, that person that puts their life on the line, puts their life in front of somebody else's just to make sure that they're going to be safe.
And people that support it, like that's what who the brand's for. We have a saying, we're not a brand for everybody. If you like us, we love you. If you don't like us, we don't care. It's like we just don't care.
Oh yeah, I'm not in the business of making everybody happy. If I did, nobody would be happy.
Yeah, and you don't want to be in that kind of business anyway. Just because it seems to me right off the bat, you guys are authentic, no nonsense, no bullshit. Just this is who we are. This is what we care about, and take it or leave it. But with a and I'm sure we'll get into this more, but it feels like there's like an element of service to it, or serving others.
Yeah,
there definitely is. We do a lot of stuff. I wouldn't really say it is outside the cigar world, with nonprofits. Just getting guys outside, getting them out of their headspace, getting them around other people, like-minded people. And we were talking about it a little bit before the show as well. But this rolled up thing that has leaves on the inside is a barrier breaker. It brings two people together and opens up a line of communication, a conversation. So, and all the other things that we like to do in life, now we have a tool where not only can we put two people together because we're in that community, we have that thing that's going to break that barrier down, allow those people to have the communication, that conversation. And it feels good. Like that's the best part about all of it.
Yeah. I say that the thing that the cigar community and the military had in common that I see is like in the military, you didn't see race. You didn't see, people that were different. Everybody wore green. Right. Yeah. And when you go into a cigar lounge and you're smoking a cigar, it breaks down all those barriers. If you watched the media, you would just go crazy with like how divided this country is. But then you walk into a cigar lounge and you see people from everywhere, of all different makes and models, right? And everybody's getting along, and it's just a great environment. And it's the closest thing to the military I can find where none of the other stuff matters.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So, Scott, tell us about your acting career.
What?
Yes.
Allison.
So Allison's getting me back on track on how Warfighter kind of started. So
thank you, Allison.
If do you guys know what an IMDb is?
Oh yeah. So
it stands for I am a douchebag. Just so you know that. But I happen to have one, and so I was in a movie called Range 15, and I don't know if you're familiar with like Black Rifle Coffee, Article 15 at the time, Ranger Up. They made this movie called Range 15. When I owned the gun store, I supported it, and I was able to be in the movie as an extra, as a zombie.
Yeah, you got killed like 3 times.
Yeah, I got killed like 3 times, but it was a big deal.
You're a zombie. It happens.
But it allowed me to hang out with like the Black Rifle guys and the other veteran entrepreneurs, and like I was already in business, but it motivated me to start another business. And so I looked for a product, that something that was like, when we were pretty good at social media with the gun store, But I would do a social media thing on a certain gun, and people would just go to their local gun store and buy the gun or whatever. I got into manufacturing a little bit, but I wanted a product that was a consumable, something that I enjoyed doing. And I landed on cigars, and being on the set of Range 15 is kind of what inspired me to like think about it and like really kind of plan it. And then the following, I don't know, a couple months later, we were at SHOT Show.
Yeah.
And me and my business partners, we were sitting, well, my future business partners at the time, we were sitting around and just drinking. And I'm like, we should start a cigar company. And none of us knew anything about the cigar industry. Like we smoked cigars, but industry wise, we didn't know anything. And so we started it, made every mistake you can make. We tried not to make the same one twice, and I think that's what kind of kept us going.
Yeah.
And we started out, like I said, we did everything wrong. We got, we're almost 9 years in now.
Almost 8.5.
Yeah, 8.5 years in. And, so we got a lot of things figured out and good product. The veteran thing will get people to try the cigar, but if your cigar isn't good, they're not going to buy more. So we have to focus on having a good product. But we made a lot of mistakes initially. I think that's normal. So
I think it's normal for any business. Yeah.
I mean, my last name's not, Perdomo or Padron or, like I wasn't born into the family, I had to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not making mistakes and you're not
learning,
failing, you're not risking anything. You're not trying to be outside of the box, and if you make that same mistake over and over, then you're not learning, so it's just like it's almost like an interactive experience. Like you get direct feedback. It tells you what you're doing right or wrong.
And it hurts. When you make a mistake, it hurts. So
yeah. Well, it's like you were saying, it's the pain that kind of helps with that muscle memory to not repeat that hurt. Okay. It goes all the way from when we're a kid, mom says, don't touch the hot stove. Well, what do we, first fucking thing we do, we touch the hot stove, we get burned. We're like, okay, yeah, she was right. Don't touch that thing, we all go through it time and time again. And man, if we can come out the other side of it being half for me, I'll speak for my dumb ass if I can come out the other side of it being like half a stitch smarter than I was before, that's like a big accomplishment. So I'll take it.
I think
there's that saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Mm-hmm.
But what doesn't kill you sometimes hurts really bad. I don't know if it makes you stronger or not,
Like I should be bench pressing like office buildings by now.
I think failure's got to be a part of your growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That has to be.
Most definitely.
Guys, before you started your own company, what cigars were you smoking? Matt asked the question.
So before we did our own brand, my gun store sold cigars.
Yeah.
And so
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that combination a lot.
Yeah.
Right. So we sold a lot of Drew Estates. We sold, and that's how I met one of my dear friends, Jenny Lynn from Drew Estates. She used to be my rep, and we're still good friends now.
Yeah.
And I don't know what else did we sell. We sold a lot of Drew Estates.
We did a lot of Drew Estate, a lot of Deadwood, just because we were in Nebraska and it was close. What did I like to smoke though? So there was it's kind of interesting, right? Because like we knew for a little bit before we started Warfighter that we were going to start Warfighter. So once we kind of had that mindset, it was okay. We need to know what is on the market right now.
Yeah. So we tried a lot of new stuff.
So we just went down the rabbit hole, smoking everything that we could get our hands on from every brand. Before we started Warfighter, we probably went through probably over 1,000 cigars a piece.
Yeah.
And just smoking everything
in probably
else.
A year's time.
Yeah. Just trying to figure out what everybody else is doing. What common flavor profiles that you're noticing, strengths, where the tobacco is coming from, just a little bit of everything.
We were educating ourselves.
Yeah, pretty much.
And when we were good at social media stuff from the get-go, right? Like I think we were good at that with the gun store and whatnot. And so I went to IPCPR before we had the brand. I just attended it, and I would go around and I would talk to the companies. I'm like, hey, do you guys do social media? They're like, oh yeah. We have how many followers do you have? Oh, we had a lot, and I'd look and like 3,000 followers or whatever. And I'm like, how long you guys been in business? Like 25 years. I'm like, okay. Like I came back from that and I'm like, John, there is room here.
Yeah.
And that was, 2015.
Yeah, 15. That was 15.
So, so that's kind of, we knew we were good at that kind of stuff.
Right.
And yeah.
Do you guys still own the gun store?
No, I sold that. Once the cigars took off, I got out of that business and haven't looked back. I don't miss it.
We enjoy shooting now.
Yeah.
We didn't enjoy shooting that.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I love learning about from up and coming cigar companies who started, more recently, and like you guys both said, you didn't grow up in tobacco families, you didn't grow up in cigar producing families. So I love learning from companies like yours because there are a lot of choices that you have when you start going around asking questions about where to have your blends made, who's going to do a good job making your blends, and a good partner to work with to have your products made. There's a lot of choices. So what made you guys land where you landed when it came to production partners who were going to get it done the way you needed it done?
Well, I mean, we had some middlemen, and we had to get initially the first couple months of the company, we were getting cigars from who knows, and we started selling more cigars than the guy could get us.
So
to
put a little backstory on that real quick, so you understand why we're a cigar company being like, we don't know where we got cigars from. So like Scott was saying, at SHOT Show we got drunk and we are like, hey, let's do this cigar company. It's going to be awesome. So that first business meeting was like, oh, cool, this is so fun. We're all motivated. Hey, anybody know where to get cigars?
Yeah.
And everyone was like,
we knew nothing.
What?
Yeah.
So
and so we were kind of proving the concept,
right?
Because we didn't want to we wanted to start slow and not go all in and fail. And so, like I said, it was the first couple months, right? We outgrew this guy, so we go down to Nicaragua, and we had a middleman, and we eventually got rid of a middleman, and now we work with we've worked with a couple really good factories, but right now we work with Esteban Carrera's factory, and everything's just really good. Works out great for us, so we're happy there.
Yeah. And previous to that, we were all of our stuff was made at Plasencia. And I mean the Plasencia family is amazing.
Both great factories.
Their factories are just insane. But we were just a really, 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 really small fish in a giant pond. And so now we've grown a lot since then.
And we're way the factory at the Esteban Carrera factory. It's our factory. We go down there, we create the blends with Gonzalo. I mean, I don't have to work through somebody. My
only barrier is my English to Spanish.
Yeah, that's it. But we're way hands on, and with Plasencia it was okay. We worked through a middleman, and it's just time delays.
But we were so hands off. Yeah,
and
we didn't like that.
Yeah. So
it didn't allow us to do cool, fun projects and new test blends and one-off stuff and small batch releases. We didn't really have the capability, I wouldn't even say we had the capability to do it internally. We just didn't have the ability to do that in production.
Yeah. And the one of the first Spanish words that I really truly learned was mañana does not mean tomorrow. It means not right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that was one thing that we're military guys, right? So you give me a timeline, and if the timeline's not met, I'm upset and I'm trying to figure out why. And it was a culture thing.
Yeah, but but whatever your timeline is, that's what I'm going to plan everything off of. So if you're like, okay, your timeline is 90 days, cool, I got 90 days done, and everything gets put in play for that 90 days. If it takes 200, I plan for 90. But if you tell me 200 and I plan everything, and then you're like, oh, hey, just kidding, it's 90, I'm already planned out. I get everything already set up. I just bump everything to the left. We're good to go.
Yeah.
But when it's the opposite, that we started to run into big issues where we had marketing drops and publication things and all of this content and media scheduled, and then everything got screwed. And it was just okay, we got to fix this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
so guys,
go ahead.
So, guys, run us through your line of cigars.
Yeah.
Give us your portfolio.
Yeah, I should have brought him out here.
I know we weren't even thinking.
So
we got. Let's see. What do we got here? Okay, so we have a Sumatra.
Yeah.
I have a Corojo. There's a Victory. I'm smoking a Night Shift, and you have
the Rosado.
So we got.
So we have a.
We got a.
I'll start from the beginning. We have a Connecticut. Our Connecticut's more on the milder side. Yeah. Our Sumatras, maybe even just a different flavor strength wise. Then we have our Field Maduro, which is a milder Maduro. Let some of that natural sweetness come through. We don't have a lot of. I don't think we have any Ligero in that Maduro. Then we have our Corojo, a little spice and pepper. Our Rosado, a little bit bolder. Then we have our Esquiro Maduro, which is it's probably one of our bolder ones, if not our boldest. And then our Victory is kind of what we call our celebratory cigar. It's our Brazilian Montefina. We do that one in kind of limited releases where we change the Vitola. We do like however many and then change the Vitola for the next edition. So right now we're on the 4th edition with that one. We have our Dumpster Fire, which is it's our mixed filler cigar, right? So
it's our Cuban sandwich.
Yeah. And we didn't know how to market our Cuban sandwich. So Dumpster Fire we felt was appropriate.
Yeah. It's a great name for a cigar.
And it's got a very elegant band on it.
It does.
For it's a burning dumpster, but it's really it's a neat looking
as
band.
a true dumpster fire. It was supposed to be released in 2020, but that year was such a dumpster fire. It actually didn't come out until the beginning of 21.
Yeah. And then we got our new Night Shift.
Which I'm almost done.
Yeah.
But
what's the blend on the Night Shift?
It's Ecuadorian Habano Oscuro wrapper, Indonesian binder, Nicaraguan filler. Yep. It is delicious. We actually put a little candela on it. It's hard to see right now because I've been smoking it, but we put a little candela ring on the cap of this.
Nice
cigar.
So the grab the band. The purpose behind the Night Shift is like a homage to working with night vision, working at night.
I like it. I like it.
So that's why we put a little bit of the candela on it. I'm not a candela smoker. I don't like candela, so we put it right on the cap where you don't have to actually smoke it.
It does,
but it looks
mouthfeel too.
Yeah, it does change the mouth.
It's like a salad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, what have been, because you were talking about, test blends, and that could be a really tricky, thing to work through, especially in the very beginning, when you're just, because what you like to smoke, but, you may not necessarily know which leaves and combinations and rolling styles and all that are going to get you to the result that you want. So what are some of like the key things that you've learned along the way that maybe even some that have surprised you about the concept and the process of working with the factory on test blends to get it dialed in exactly where you want it to be?
So I have a story about that. So the factory we work with now, Gonzalo, he's a older Cuban guy. Has been in tobacco industry for 50 years, I think. Yeah. Everybody, he's just a great dude, right? One of the second or third trip we were going down there working with him, I had a blend on paper. I'm like, hey, Gonzalo, I want you to make
I want
this.
these.
And he looked at me and he told me no. And I'm like,
no explanation.
I'm like, well, I don't know if that's how this is supposed to work, but so I said, why? And he's like, it won't burn right. And I'm like, okay, I believe you. Make me 10 of them.
Yeah.
And the combination of tobaccos I had weren't the right combinations, and it didn't bburn right. And but he knew that by looking at a piece of paper. So what I learned was trust the people that have been doing this their whole life. And we have an influence on obviously what the blend is, but we can tell him this is our goal, and he helps us get there. And we go through. When we do a new blend, it's a lot of trial and error. But without a Gonzalo, a couple gringos that were infantry guys.
Well, I'll put it to you this way: we got some stuff sitting in our humidor that's been in there for 8 years now.
Yeah.
And it's still not fucking good. not even remote. I can't even be like, well, with 8 years of age, it's dog tears.
So we did a barber poll, and as you're blending, the barber poll we did was great. We're like, this is awesome, right? Well, I learned that once you roll a cigar and it re-ferments it
During the aging
ages
process,
itself, right? It starts to ferment again and it ages itself. So when I smoked it 60 or 90 days later, it was literally the worst cigar I've ever had.
Yeah,
but when they rolled it, it was good.
Yeah.
And
But
so
it still hasn't gotten any better.
no. So there's a learning process for sure.
But like the cool thing with that though is like, so we can go walk in the humidor and we can grab some of these cigars that we rolled 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And we can sit down, we can smoke them, and then try to think back to like the mindset we were in when we were sitting at the blending table for those.
Yeah.
And then use that as like kind of motivation for the next time we go blend, because it's like, okay, we are not doing that again.
Well, we're better at what we do.
Yeah.
Because we go down there and I learn every time I go to Nicaragua. I learn, now it's more like I'm focused on like the crop kind of stuff and the the major processing, like what does what, and that's kind of what I'm focused on learning. But
the military, they kind of do it the best, and we kind of adopted that into kind of how we do things with Warfighter, where they do a program. It's called they call it Train the Trainer. So they take one guy from a unit and they send him to a school to learn whatever skill or technique it is, and they essentially become that subject matter expert, and then they come back and they start training all the other guys. Now the other guys aren't certified, they're not subject matter experts, but they're extremely knowledgeable with firsthand experience on whatever that is. And so we try to adapt that into what we do with cigars. And like we were talking a lot about Gonzalo. He's kind of like that trainer,
he's like the master instructor.
Yeah, he's that dude. He's like, I'm a level whatever. Like there's, and we're just like the little kids sitting, Indian on the floor in front of them. Be like, oh, what else are you going to learn? This is awesome. Yeah.
You want to ask that question?
Go ahead. Dive in.
Let's talk a little bit about mental health for vets, and are you guys involved in that? And I know first responders, we go through it sometimes, well, a lot of times. But, how do you guys deal with it, and how do you are you involved in any programs to help other vets?
On which side? Helping side or the active side? We're on both sides.
Yeah, I think we're both involved in both sides. The more I help, the more it helps me. It's a selfish thing. But I think, we both have our struggles with mental health.
Yeah.
It's and going back to the first responders, I think you guys are overlooked way more than you should be.
Big time.
We do the military thing, and it's and then we're kind of done with it, right?
But they
you guys do it day in, day out,
and there's a lot of things, like I think the general public doesn't understand the shit that firefighters and police officers see on a daily thing. It's not like, oh, well, I'm a cop and I get shot at all the time. It's like, no, but you respond to accidents where people are dismembered and killed and just like maimed, you know what I mean? And that affects people huge. And I feel like it's just overlooked in the general public. Like, oh, he's a firefighter. He puts out fires. No, he saves lives every day more than he puts out fires, But no, on the mental health side of things, like, both of us were, prior military guys. We're both infantry guys. We deployed to Iraq 03-04 for the initial invasion. It's definitely something that we've been on both sides of, like we said in the beginning. We've been on the receiving side of it, having to try to figure life out, having to try to figure out how to, get back into the civilian side of things. With us, when we had the gun store, when we would go do events, whether it's a shooting event or put on a class or something like that, we'd always run into guys that were prior military, and we'd realize that through the activities that we were doing, that everybody was kind of in a better mood and a better headspace. When we started Warfighter, it kind of injected us back into that veteran community, that space that we were kind of missing, and it allowed us to be able to get creative with the things that we were doing and how we can try to impact the veteran community, for lack of better words. By moving to Texas, we started the company in Nebraska. We were in a town of 600 people.
Yeah, but we were not far from Lincoln.
No, but we didn't have a big populace. We didn't have we had a great community.
The veteran community was small.
It was tiny. One of my really good buddies that was in Nebraska, prior military guy, he wore a metal helmet, and his M16 was stamped by Mattel. Like, that's when he served, so it was a little bit different era than when we were in. now that we're down in Texas,
especially San Antonio, it's
huge.
Veteran,
they're everywhere.
Yeah.
You can't look anywhere in the San Antonio area and not see a veteran.
Yeah.
So we got heavily involved with some nonprofits that are local, and some that aren't, and just kind of getting outside and trying to do everything that we can do with the cigar involved, just because we understand that this piece of tobacco right here is the key. It really is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's amazing because me having not served, but still, everybody goes through stuff, and it really is amazing whether, there are times, at least I'll speak from my own experience. There are times that I need like a mental break with a cigar, just for myself to sit with, music on or read a book or
just to decompress,
watch a nonsense movie and decompress. And there's other times that,
I need to pull you out of the house. And
come on, I need to go.
Yeah, I need to go somewhere and have a cigar.
I need to go somewhere with the guys and talk about bullshit for a few hours, and have a drink, have a cigar, and even for those who don't drink, that cigar and that camaraderie that comes around, that comes from the knowledge of cigars and the desire to want to learn more about cigars and this hobby that we enjoy. It pulls us out of it's pulled me out of dark places, and I know it has a lot of other people too, where it just gives you something to focus on other than, because one of the things I've been learning about a lot lately is rumination, this thing in mental health where we get stuck talking about and thinking about the stuff that's making us dark and sad,
and then it just spirals and makes everything
and then
worse.
It spirals where all
that, and I feel like that's the epitome of VA mental health.
Rumination.
Yes.
No, that vicious circle is just spiraling, and they inject you into that.
Yeah.
They don't try to like take you out of it. They're like, oh, you need to be right here, and they just make you spin forever.
Yeah. And just some activity that's going to keep you from, and not that you shouldn't have times where you do talk about the shit you're going through, because we all should do that, but if all we ever do is think about and talk about the shit that's making something dark in our life, that's all we're ever going to be confronted with.
Right.
Yeah. And sometimes you just got to unplug, enjoy a fine cigar, a conversation with friends.
I like the salad because it gets me out of my own head.
Yeah.
I like this thing we smoked, this two of salad here, just because it gets me out of my own head, and I can focus on something else, even if it's only for 2-3 hours.
Even if it's, for me, even if it's not focusing on anything other than the cigar. If I'm sitting in the chair by myself, I'm focusing on the cigar, I'm not thinking about other shit. And that's nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We so I do a lot of stuff with a nonprofit called Warfighter Scuba. And even though we have similar names, there's no correlation between Warfighter Tobacco and Warfighter Scuba. Warfighter Scuba is a nonprofit. They're based out of Roatan, Honduras, but they also operate out of Florida. And you were saying that you smoke that cigar to get out of your own head. That's why I scuba dive. Once you go below water, everything above water doesn't matter anymore. None of it. It's gone. Immediately it's out of your brain. Nothing thinks of it. And if a thought creeps in, a fish swims by and you forget. And it's awesome. And like we were saying earlier about the nonprofits, that's one of the ones that we do a lot of stuff with. Just because of the impact that they have, the end goal of what their program is for the veteran. Some of them are a little vague. Some of the nonprofits.
Well, there's a lot of nonprofits, and we get hit up so many times by nonprofits or golf tournaments or whatever. I could give the whole company away in probably 3 months. Just by helping.
Zero
money
left.
So what Warfighter has to do is we have to zero in on what we're, one, I like to know the people that are running the nonprofit, and we have to zero in on focusing on,
it's about the impact.
2 or 3 nonprofits, and then we can make an impact on that.
But it's what that nonprofit can do.
Yeah.
Are you actually helping, or are you just offering a service that 1,000 other nonprofits offer, and there's no follow-up, there's no community, there's no it's just like, oh, I had a great experience. but where's the help? Like, where's the follow through with it? You know?
Yeah. And that's you've got to vet nonprofits just like, you know, an employer vets an employee. You know, you got to check references. You got to talk to people who are involved. You got to get, you know, down, especially if it's a nonprofit that claims to or says that the reason that they're doing what they do is to help veterans.
Yeah.
Then you've got to and running the business. You guys don't. I don't blame you a bit. You don't have time to really deeply vet every single nonprofit that comes to you and says, can you donate a this? Can you donate an X or a Y or a Z? And I agree with that you want to help. You obviously want to help, and you guys are helping. But if you stretch yourselves too thin, there's going to be no company left to offer help.
Right. We found that out quite early.
Yeah,
actually,
we were too charitable too early, and
we actually didn't even do a single sale, but we made a charitable contribution to the Fallen Angel Aviator Foundation.
Yeah, which is good charity.
That was great charity. And it was awesome things that they were doing.
But as far as a business decision, it was a poor one.
Yeah, we looked back and we were like, oh, maybe we should have like waited at least a week or two until we started actually selling stuff. I mean, in the greater scheme of everything, it worked out perfectly.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But at the time, we're like this is way backwards.
But that's advice we give to new companies or veteran companies that ask us, business questions. Like, make your business profitable and then become charitable. Otherwise, it'll never, you have to do it in that order.
You're kind of handicapping yourself.
Yeah.
Get up and running and then do everything that you want to do. But get up and running first.
That makes a lot of sense.
A lot of sense. Thank you.
So back to the cigar world. One things I also love learning from people is, and you already mentioned, a couple people, but we all have mentors and people who give us advice, even if it's not in any official capacity, just people who've given us solid advice over the years. Who have been some of the people in the cigar industry, whether they're retailers or other manufacturers, that have been good with offering free advice, useful advice, that kind of thing along the way for you guys?
Oh man, I have so many people I can list, and they have no idea.
Yeah,
like remember I went to that shop in Arizona,
and
the guy tore me apart for 45 minutes, and I called you.
That wasn't advice, but we learned a lot.
No, I learned a lot. He didn't think he was giving me advice, but he was giving me advice. I went into the shop in Arizona. I'm not going to name any names or anything like that because everybody will know exactly who I'm talking about. They probably will anyways, but either way, I don't take any offense to it.
Well, we were new.
We were brand new. I walked into the shop, and I mean, this is us, right? We're t-shirt and jeans type of guys. Like, we're not going to put on a suit to go do a sales call. We wore sport jackets, I think 2 years at shows, and people asked if we were okay.
Yeah.
It's just, we have like 511 button downs with, Warfighter embroidered on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I had one of those, nice pair of jeans and some cowboy boots. I live in Texas. That's what I do. Yeah. So I walk into the shop for a sales call, and I'm like, hey, I'm John with Warfighter Tobacco, blah, 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 all that fun stuff. And he was very nice and very respectful and let me do my whole pitch. And he's like, hey, just step into my humidor. And I'm like, okay, cool. And he proceeded to just go up one side of me and right down the other for like 40 minutes and just tear me apart with everything that I said. He had, blah, 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 and this and that, and your price point and this and blah, 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 and it just everything. And I walked out of there and I thanked him, and I walked out of there and I got my truck and I called Scott, and he's like, what's going on, man? And I'm like, bro, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. I really fucking don't.
I'm like, oh, we just put a bunch of money in and we're pretty new. Like, this is just
we're like 6-8 months old at this point. And I'm like, dude, this guy just fucking ruined my world. But I learned, I learned so much in that 45 minutes. There's no other way I could have learned it. So he definitely taught me a lot. But there's guys like Tim Swanson at Cigars Daily.
Oh yeah,
I've had I can't tell you how many hours of conversations with him, whether it's on the phone or after we get done recording one of his shows. and just talking about the industry in general and just how things work. And then afterwards, like a day or two or a week later, realizing like, holy shit, he just helped solve problems that I didn't even know. And we weren't directly talking about them, but just through the conversation. And there's so much of that happens. We use a broker in Arizona, cigar mechanic, Brandon Wells. And same thing through drunken conversations at shows in Vegas. We've learned so much, and it wasn't like we were set out to do that. I feel like a lot of the things that we've learned have just been on accident.
Yeah.
It wasn't like,
as far as an actual mentor, though, I don't know if we had anybody that really took us under their wing and really coached us.
We had a lot of people try to screw us.
We had a lot of people try to screw us. Not a lot.
That's inevitable.
But we had a couple that were very much so tried to screw us. But no, for the most part, though, this industry is awesome.
It really,
I mean, all of the other manufacturers, I like to think like, we're Switzerland. We get along with everybody. Is kind of how we try to, we don't try to get sucked into drama for sure. And we try to help out as much as we can, probably too much.
Yeah.
We've gotten some bad advice.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Man.
Like when because like we went into this, social media heavy, and we were told that, you got to come in with the lowest price point of cigars, and you have to beg the shop to carry it, and then hope that they sell them for you.
Yeah, they have to teach their customers.
Yeah, and we're just like, no,
that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so we run lean. We're in, I don't know, probably 300 shops across the country, but it's our customers. Our customers go to the shop, and we ask them to.
But we also don't have a sales team of 20 people.
That's what I mean. Yeah, we don't. But the customer goes to the shop, and the shops call us, and that's how we get into a lot of the shops. So, is that the right way? I don't know, but it's the way that works for us.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, and it's been working for you guys. Like you mentioned earlier, that you learned from, some old school people, and the cigar industry still is kind of an old school industry. And a lot of people, it's taken a lot of old school companies a long time to realize that stuff like websites, social media are vitally important to get today's coming of age cigar consumers, the 20 somethings and 30 somethings. If you're not on, if you're just putting a couple full page ads, 6 times a year in Cigar Aficionado, that's not going to do it anymore.
Nope. No.
And you guys knew that right from the get-go, and it's taken a lot of companies a long time to get that.
The main reason we didn't do Cigar Aficionado 6 times a year right out the gate was the cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're very proud of their advertising.
Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, it works for the great big companies, right? But
sure, absolutely.
Somebody like us, we were laughing at the ad, the number one not rated cigar.
Yeah.
And we were looking at each other like, that's brilliant.
Like, should we be the number 2 unrated cigar?
like you got to do what you got to do, right?
So has there been any retailers you went to and you sat there with the owner, you looked at the humidor and decided, I don't think we should be in the shop.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to work with us. They're not going to feed off of our vibe.
Yeah.
And if you have that shop, how do you just not call back? Do you just not show back up? Or
No,
how do you deal with all that?
We're brutally honest sometimes to a fault. So there's been some shops that, just the communication just kind of fizzles out and nothing really comes of it. And then there's also been some shops where it's like, you can just go over there, right? We're like, fuck them.
Well, we've never said that.
Not directly to their face, but tactfully, we've said that we wouldn't be a good fit for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes we walk into a shop or a retail establishment, maybe not a lounge, and they're just not taking care of the cigars.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay,
usually it's not an ideological decision. It's not been like, well, we just view things differently, or these people.
It has been, but sometimes it's on their end.
Yes.
Where they're just like, oh, we're not for what you guys stand for.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, like thanks for telling us.
Yeah. But more often than not, it's not that. It's more like what Scott was saying, where like we've walked into a shop where we go in the humidor, we're walking around, we look up at a vent, and there's mold growing out of the vent, and it's okay. So we're gonna make this a quick stop. We did. That's but like, how do you say something? Like, do you call them out on that? You know what I mean? Like, we haven't. As a manufacturer, we were just like, we didn't even say a word. Jack, like nothing even happened. It was just like, okay, we'll follow up later.
I've walked into a shop, and before I even introduced myself, I've thought to myself, I'm not selling our cigars here, and I'll go in the humidor, buy a cigar, and leave. And I act like I was just a customer.
There's a I've mentioned it so many times, but the Notorious shop, just on the Wisconsin side of the border. They have a number of locations, but the one location just on the Wisconsin side of the border from Minnesota. I've walked into that shop, and this is a long time ago. I haven't been to the shop in ages, but walked in there the first time I ever went to the cigar shop, and this was, good Lord, forever ago. They had mold growing. Not just was there mold growing on the cigars, there was mold growing on the boxes and the shelves. And I talked to the guy who was working there. I said, I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything, but you've got a severe mold, because they sold everything else too, glass and, stuff for weed and vapes and all that shit too. But I came out to the guy and I said, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but you got a severe problem in your cigar humidor. And he's like, oh, that's plume. I swear to God. I swear, he looked me right in the eye and he said, that's plume. I said, all right, have a good day. And I left, and that was
the better the plume gets, we add $1 every month.
We measure it. The thicker it gets, the more we charge. So actually, I don't know why I didn't talk about this before at all either, but where in Minnesota are you guys?
Just suburbs just north of Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Okay, I graduated high school in Rochester.
Oh, no way.
Really? Yeah. I lived there for 2 years, my senior year of high school.
No way.
Yeah. So
we'll be down. We'll be down at a wedding in Waseca.
Okay.
On Friday.
Nice.
Garrett, who used to be the co-host of the show, he's getting married on Friday, and we'll be down at his wedding.
That's awesome. So we were talking about helping and giving back a little bit ago. Through one of the ranches that we have done a lot of hunts on down here in the past with veterans, I became really good friends with the landowners, and every year they do a state-sponsored youth hunt. So the state of Texas teams up with the ranch. They bring out a group. It's anywhere between about 12 to about 18 kids under 14, under 16, and we take them out. We get them their first whitetail deer. And so we have guides with them and a family, parent with them as well. And so 2 of my high school buddies from Minnesota actually are coming down to help guide these hunts.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah. And so I brought one of them down last year. And I mean, it's almost a 9,000 acre ranch in South Texas. It literally, when you drive around this ranch, it feels like you're on 3 different planets because the ecosystem changes so much.
Oh, nice.
It's an extremely unique place. And so I was telling my buddy about it. I'm like, dude, it's like the shit you see on hunting stuff on like TV.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't explain it to you until you actually come down here and get on the ranch. And this is also where we take veterans down all the time.
Yeah.
So he came down last year and he went and did it. And so he goes back and he tries to explain it to, his buddies in Minnesota. And like to try to explain to somebody in Minnesota what a 9,000 acre ranch in Texas is. It's just like, you ever been to the moon? Well, it's really cool. It's really cool. And so he goes back last year and he tells all his buddies, and explains this. And his buddy's like, yep, this is bullshit. And you show him a picture and it does no justice. And so one of our mutual buddies, I'm like, fuck it. And I'm like, I've hunted with you since high school. I'm like, you're coming down this year to guide. And he's like, no way. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh shit. And so now like every day he's like, what do I need to bring? Should I ship my guns down? Do I need this? Do I need that? And I'm like, dude, just all you have to do is show up. Like, that's it. Everything else is taken care of. It's yeah.
Nice.
So on his hunt, go ahead. No, finish what you were saying. I'm sorry.
No, that was it. That was it.
So on this hunt, do you guys use firearms or do you use bows?
Firearms. So it's actually extremely organized, even though it's controlled chaos, because we have 16 kids running around, just having the time of their lives. But they show up, Friday afternoon. We'll get all of them. We have a 100-yard range that's built on the property. We get every one of the kids with their rifle, confirming zero. We adjust if we need to. It also allows us to realize who needs a little bit more or less help with a guide in terms of shooting. And then we pair the kids with the guides. And then we kind of cherry pick the blinds depending on the story that the family has or the kid has, or anything that they have going on. And then we go out Saturday first thing in the morning. We sit all morning, we sit in the evening, and then we sit Sunday morning as well. And then the years prior, every single kid's gotten their first deer. Most of them have gotten a pig as well. And then actually last year we had one, it was I think it was a 13 or 14-year-old boy actually got 2 bobcats.
Oh, nice.
The same time within 45 minutes.
Wow.
It was insane.
I love it.
It was awesome. It's probably one of my favorite hunts we do. We also do another hunt in January. It's a dog and knife hunt. So there's no firearms involved at all. Actually, Scott was on this one.
I got to do the last year. That was it. It was something.
I like to say it's the most intimate form of hunting that I've ever done.
Yeah.
I don't really know another way to explain it because you're using a knife and it's very hands-on.
The dogs grab them.
Yeah, so the dogs, they essentially corral them in the middle of the woods, and then we go in with catch dogs, and they kind of hold the pig, and then we make it kind of safe. We pull the dogs off, make sure the pig's, I don't know,
not going anywhere.
Yeah, for the most part, as safe as we can for a veteran and a wild animal. And then we bring the veteran in, and they do their
harvesting.
It's very clean. It's very ethical. It's very, very, very quick. But it's also very intimate. So when you get a veteran in that space, it gets interesting because you're putting this veteran in a space where they're doing something that triggers a lot of emotions that they might not be ready for.
Yeah.
And so the good part about it is the landowners and the crew that we have the crew that the landowner has that helps in the group of guides and veterans that we have that go out to facilitate the hunt. Have been doing it long enough and have enough experience doing it that it's we've never had a bad experience with it. It always comes out. We always do AAR, after action reviews. We have the campfire talk in the evenings.
The cigars
around the campfire. Yeah. And then we always talk about what we did. And there's a clear difference between that veteran on a Friday or Thursday or Friday when they show up for the hunt and on Sunday when they're leaving to go back home. It's a totally different person between that Friday and that Sunday. And the only thing is commonality of people, cigars.
And it's definitely a team
and an
sport.
activity. 100% team sport. It's not a by yourself thing. No. But yeah, it's pretty amazing. It really, really is.
Sounds like a blast.
So do you guys think it's time?
Well, I was going to ask one of the questions about what they like pairing their cigars with. But I think they answered that earlier.
Well,
whiskey.
Is this whiskey just Jameson or?
No, we drink a lot of different things, but we do a Warfighter tobacco podcast.
Well, we can run down the bar real quick and kind of get that.
We got asked this last week.
Oh yeah.
How do you know what to pair a cigar with? And I said, well, pair a cigar that you like with a drink you like.
Yeah.
If you pair a cigar right, if you take a cigar you don't like, and you pair it with a drink you like, it's probably not going to work out, and vice versa.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a
definitely don't pick a cigar you don't like and a drink you don't like and try to put those together.
Yeah, it won't work.
You won't like either.
Yeah.
But
I like to, because I like tequila too, and so smoking the same cigar, if you go pair it with whatever whiskey or bourbon, and then the next time the same cigar and you pair it with tequila, it's vastly different.
Or if
and I enjoy that.
You split your drinks in the same cigar.
Yeah.
I learned that at a cigar bar in Lincoln, Nebraska, unexpectedly.
Right.
Right when we first started, I drank them out of Jameson. I didn't realize it. It was my second drink. So it wasn't me. It was the guy before me. But when we're in Nicaragua, they don't really have. Well, I'll just say they don't have good whiskey.
No, it's crap whiskey.
They have Jack Daniel's, Jim Beam. That's
and then scotches that they consider whiskey.
Yeah, they're not. But
they have good rum.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So my one when I didn't have Jameson to go to, they had the bartender was like, "Hey, I got Florida Cognac 7," and I'm like, "Oh, I like that. I'll take that on the rocks." So he poured it to me, and I took a sip, and I took a drag off my cigar, same cigar that I was drinking the whiskey with, and I was like, "Wait a minute."
Yeah.
I'm like, "That is." Hold on a second. So then I was like, "Okay, I need that whiskey on the rocks, and I have this rum." And give me a tequila, and then I started going back and forth. I'm like, oh, this is cool.
That's my favorite way to pair. When you're changing it up.
All right, man.
Cigars going on.
So is it time? Is it time?
Yeah.
All right, guys. It is now time for this week's Numero de los Muertos. And as always, Numero de los Muertos brought to us by our friends at Smoke Inn.
Honestly, agree with the goat to tell you about Smoke Inn's Cigar of the Month Club. Every month, I personally handpick 5 premium cigars. Another great feature is our Double Down Club. With a simple check mark, you can get double this great selections every month and save $10. Every month, there's a special discount code where if you like any of the selections, you can get them at a special discounted rate for our Cigar of the Month Club members. We've made it super simple. All you gotta do is log into your account. There's a little green button there. If it's green, you're active. You wanna take a break, going out of town, simply hit the button and you'll deactivate your membership. We get the stuff out on the 28th of every month. Our membership bills on the 28th, and we get every member's package out on the 28th if it's a shipping day. All delivered to your door for $34.95. 5 great reasons on what makes Smoking Cigar of the Month Club the best club out there. Check it out. Peace.
All right, Numero de los Muertos, episode 259. The number this week is, this is going to be really tough for me to actually give like an official number. I'm going to say, okay, the number is 1, but it's spread over a long period of time.
What?
I know.
Wait, what?
I know. This one's gonna. So you guys, basically you guys, along with our viewers, in the comments, get to play 20 questions and try to break down what was it that caused these people to die.
That person, because there's only one, right?
This person.
Okay, but it happened over a lot.
I know this.
Yeah,
1,000 years or 20 years or
15.
15.
So
Are
it took
animals
one person.
involved?
Animals are not involved.
Death by marriage.
That number might be significantly higher.
Is it health related?
Not health related.
Work?
Oh, there goes the STD one I was going to go for.
It can be workplace related, but I don't think that is a factor.
Does it involve machinery?
Machinery is not involved.
Death by gunpowder?
Not death by gunpowder.
Quicksand.
Not quicksand. You know, when I was a kid, every show or cartoon had people like going into quicksand. I always thought it was going to be a big problem in my adult life. I've never once encountered quicksand, and I've spent a lot of times in the deep woods. I've never once in my whole life seen.
I found some quicksand with my side-by-side last weekend. So.
Oh,
yeah, there's quicksand by Houston, I guess.
Well, death by TNT?
Not TNT.
Radiation?
Not radiation.
Wow.
Are explosives involved?
Explosives are not involved.
So no gunpowder, no explosive, no STDs, no machinery. Well, this guy didn't live a fun life.
I'll give a hint. This is a recreational activity.
So not death by arsenic.
Not death by arsenic.
Recreational activity.
Well, does it involve a sport?
Not a sport, but a competitive activity.
Okay.
Is weed involved from Michelob?
Weed is not involved.
Okay. Sniffing
Does
glue?
Does it have guns and knives in it?
It's not sniffing glue. Not in reality. No.
Video games.
Yes.
Okay. Now we're getting somewhere.
Wow.
That's,
Somebody died by video game.
that's the answer.
That's the answer?
That's the answer.
Nicely
Oh.
done.
What?
All right. So
What's the question?
there is something. All right. So
I gotta hear this.
Yeah.
the prevalence
Were they playing too much Call of Duty?
among adolescents
Yeah.
estimated to be 5%, which is like gaming addiction.
Mhm.
Okay.
And of the population of at-risk, mostly adolescent males, may be around 45 million. So roughly one death per 2 million gamers over the period of about 15 years, just from like basically focusing so intently on the game that you lose track of all other important things like food, water, oxygen,
Sleep.
sunlight,
Sleep.
sleep.
Wow.
Yeah.
So basically, they're doing meth without meth.
Yeah.
Okay, I got
Yeah.
it. I got it.
Because it's like
There you
you get dopamine from
Right.
playing video games.
Right.
But yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So roughly one death per 2 million gamers over the course of about 15 years.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. And and they say that for the most, and that's on average for the ones who are the highest at risk adolescent males. But for the most avid gamers who, are the ones who are, 30 and still living in their mom's basement playing video games, the probability is even higher.
Well, yeah, because then you got to throw depression in the mix too.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. And so 10 of, let's see. Oh, so there are also comorbidities. Surprise, surprise. Risk factors. Extreme obesity. Surprise, surprise. Asthma, previous heart attack, high blood pressure, liver disease.
Previous heart attack.
Previous heart attack.
I'm not sure that the video game is the ultimate cause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Oh, this is a rabbit hole I don't want to go down right now. I've been going down a rabbit hole about pharmaceuticals and food and all kinds of stuff, like tinfoil hat type shit.
Yeah. All the tobacco companies, big tobacco owns half the food companies out there right now. So
Right.
Crazy. Go figure,
So,
right? It's
like
all the processed food.
It's so bad. The more you start to learn, the more it's just like, oh my god.
Yep.
Like,
Well, and then you
I'm
go
gonna
to-
sound crazy
then
if
you
I
go-
say anything about.
But you
this.
go to another country and the food is
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
why
You
are
know,
we doing
like,
this to ourselves?
You're talking about comorbidities. I just saw an article today that was saying that Ozempic, which is the weight loss drug, is now leading to less of a chance of Alzheimer's in type 2 diabetes patients, which is interesting because Alzheimer's is kind of type 3 diabetes, and it's because you're overweight and it's because of your diet, but Ozempic makes you feel full so you don't eat, and it's just like, does anybody else see this? Is it just me? Is this this making sense in my head, or does this make sense to other people too?
It makes absolute sense.
It's crazy. Like, and I hate to, because every time I talk about it, I'm like, man, I feel like I'm the crazy guy right now.
Nope. It's only crazy if you think it's crazy.
Right. Yeah.
All right, so that was this week's Numero de los Muertos. All right, let's jump into the lightning round, brought to us by J.C. Newman Cigar Company, America's oldest family-owned premium cigar maker, creators of the popular Brick House, Perla Del Mar, Diamond Crown, and The American. J.C. Newman Cigar Company operates out of their 113-year-old El Reloj Cigar Factory in historic Cigar City, Tampa, Florida. For more information on their cigars or visitor experience, please visit jcnewman.com. All right, guys. So a couple fun non-cigar related questions for you guys. John, let's start with you on this one. If you were about to get into a fight, what would your soundtrack music be?
Oh, man. This is a tough one.
I know this
because it goes really deep. You know this one? Okay, what do you got?
For me, it's Guns N' Roses Get in the Ring.
Okay. See, like half of me wants to have fun with it,
right?
And like I want like It's Raining Men to be playing in the background or something. You know what I mean? It's just the intimidation factor, you know.
Yes.
But then the other half of me is just like I need like
some hype music.
So Scott and I were in a incident.
Oh yeah,
where we had somebody playing theme music for us.
Okay.
And it was a real life scenario.
Yeah.
And we were probably, I believe, unofficially, we were the first unit for this to happen with.
I think so.
Unofficially, because I don't know who else I can confirm this with or not. But so our first firefight that we got into when we were in Iraq, we were in Andajaf. We had a PSYOP team attached to our unit when we were taking the city. And so the first firefight that we got into,
a PSYOPs team had a Humvee with a great big speaker system on top.
That it's like deafening loud,
right? And it was saying, like we don't mean any civilians harm. Just go in your house. It's doing PSYOP stuff, right?
Yeah.
So
so we get into this firefight, and they're shooting at us, and we're shooting at them, and we have air on station, so we're calling in air support, and then all of a sudden, we all hear this sound. The song start to play, and nobody really understood what it was at first. And it was so loud that both sides actually stopped shooting
everybody
for about 3 or 4 seconds. And it was just dead calm. They weren't shooting at us. We weren't shooting at them. And then we realized what they were playing, and they were playing Drowning Pool, Let the Bodies Hit the Floor.
Oh,
and it was like the intro to that song kind of takes a little bit to work up to it, and then the everything drops, and then so when everything dropped, it was just a wall of lead that came from
everybody. It was like celebratory fire.
It was insane. But I believe that we were one of the first units, maybe the first unit that had troops in contact where that song was played.
This is I was there. We were in Andajaf in the 101st. What unit were you in?
Yeah,
that's funny.
Because it'd be really cool if you.
Yeah.
He says, then they played you.
I think, yeah,
that might have
been.
But yeah. So if I was going to get into a fight, I mean that would.
Yeah, that
would kind of have to be it. But it depends on the fight, though. Like that was a really big fight. If it was just me and a guy in the street, then I hope he's just not wearing Birkenstocks.
I know it. I understand that reference, and I wasn't even in the military. Raleigh, hit him with.
Oh, he's in 1-5 Marines. You were on the other side of town.
Yeah.
So, what is the most underrated and overrated fast food? Scott, go first.
The most overrated is In-N-Out Burger.
Yeah,
that is such a popular answer for overrated.
Yeah,
I'm going to speak some blasphemy real quick, but Whataburger is also overrated.
It is, except for the except for the breakfast burger.
It's really good.
Oh yeah.
Underrated fast food.
Underrated. I'm gonna go with Schlotsky's.
Yeah,
I fucking love Schlotsky's.
Schlotsky's is good. Yeah, I remember Schlotsky's.
I haven't had Schlotsky's in
years. Yeah. Texas, Oklahoma. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember where it was I had Schlotsky's. I think I've only been there once, but I was nowhere near here. But I honestly don't remember where it might. Maybe it was Indianapolis. I don't know if they got them there or not, but it was somewhere like lower Midwest, like somewhere in Indiana or Ohio.
They had them in Nebraska for a number of years, and then they started closing down. Yeah.
Well, I can't wait for Justin to ask this next question because the answers from you guys, I think, could be pretty lights out.
Okay. Well, this will be fun.
You guys ready?
Sure.
The zombies are coming.
Oh, let's go.
You get to pick 3 people from the cigar industry to be on your zombie apocalypse survival squad. Who do you pick and why? Let's go with you first, Scott.
John and Matt Booth. Matt Booth for entertainment, and he's used to be a Marine, so he's probably a little familiar. John, because I know he can shoot.
I mean, I'm going obviously you. Who else would I want in the cigar industry? Oh. You know, it'd be fun. I have 2 people that would be fun, and for opposite reasons, but they both be fun. Jonathan Drew, because it would be like a personal protective detail just trying to move somebody along that has no idea what the hell's going on in life. It's like, sir, you're coming this way.
I call that a decoy.
Yeah.
Or a distraction.
And then my other one would be Steve Saka for comedic relief. And it's not because he's going to be funny. It's because it's going to be so miserable. Just the shit that comes out of his mouth is going to be comical. I think that would be really fun. Yeah. But no, like it's really hard to even in the hypotheticals, like I want somebody that I know can fight.
Yeah.
Or I want somebody that's going to make me laugh.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't want anybody else. Like, that's it. Like, either you're going to be beside me, I know you can handle it, or like, you better be fucking funny.
Well, and there's the added benefit of, you know, if you get one of the really big guys, you know, that there's, you know, not to be stereotypical or anything, but there's a good chance they're just going to have a sixth sense about where to find food.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
All right, so I think
Spirit of Mystery.
I think it's time to reveal. Actually, I think I skipped right over it, but it is still time to reveal this week's Spirit of Mystery, brought to us by Postani Cigars. Now, I've been drinking this cigar throughout, or drinking this cigar. I've been drinking this whiskey.
Drink.
I've been drinking this whiskey throughout the show, and I do like it. There's a lot of sweetness to it. I'm gonna say that there's something familiar about it, and it's got this kind of funky twang to it. That okay. I don't think because I don't think you would give me this brand again because I think.
Does it have a river or a creek in it?
Well, I don't. If it's the brand I'm thinking of, I don't know if you would give me this brand again, even if it's a different type of whiskey from them. But I could be wrong. It's big. I'll say this: if it's the brand I'm thinking of, this is the best whiskey I've tried from them.
Well, spit it out.
Is it Hooten Young?
Oh shit!
You got it.
Is it really?
Whoa.
Wow!
Holy shit!
Look at you.
Want to do that?
Put them on camera.
You want to go there? Okay. Yep.
So 6-year Cabernet cask finish.
Okay.
I didn't because you just gave me a Hooten Young like within the last couple months, I think.
That was the one that you said you didn't like. A year ago.
Now this is the first time I've had this particular whiskey from them. This is better than the stuff that I've had from them before.
So what happened was I gave him. At one of the shops we had a Hooten Young with the cigars. And he hated it.
Like 2-3 years ago.
Yep.
And I was like, the cigars are good. I'm not a fan of the whiskey. And then
about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, I gave him the same bottle again. And he was like, this is really good.
Yeah, you made a liar out of me. It's got that same, I don't know.
Or your palate changed. You know?
It could be
or the day he ate something.
Might be the day.
Yeah.
Shitty mood.
There's so much that goes into that.
Yeah. But this one, it's got that same, because there is some sort of, and I know it's, contract, I think it's contract distilled, But regardless, there's some familiar like funk in all their whiskeys, and this has it too. And I was like, there's no way this is a Hooten Young whiskey though. But there's some like sweetness that just mellows out everything on the palate with this drink. And this is definitely the best whiskey I've had from them. Definitely. So yeah, nice pour. Thank you, brother. All right. What do we have next?
Notable smokable.
Thank you very much.
I want to, since you were talking about Hooten Young whiskey.
Yeah.
I might take Norm Hooten for the zombie thing.
Oh, that's a good choice.
He would be a good
I didn't
choice.
think of that. Yeah. No, sorry, dude. It's you and Norm.
Right.
That's it. Like, let's fucking go.
Let's go.
Oh, God. Fuck. I didn't even. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like with the three of you guys, with you two and Norm, I feel like the only question is what fucking zombies.
Yeah. And Norm would be
so fun.
Man, what a mentor to have for the zombie apocalypse. Fuck.
What do you want to know about cigars? Nothing. Pick up your gun.
All right, let's do this week's notable smokables, brought to us by Don Doroteo Cigars, a brand with both purpose and passion, dedicated to creating change from within. By developing their own land, they're able to own the entire process throughout the life cycle of the plant. They methodically carry out each step, ensuring that the final product is of the finest quality. The new Salt of the Earth lines, Piedra Viva and Piedra Angular, are available now at Don Doroteo retail partners. Visit dondoroteo.com to learn more. All right, guys. So in this segment, each of us names a cigar that we smoked recently that was notable to us. And obviously you're smoking mostly your own stuff, but if you ever get a chance to, jump outside of your own portfolio. Now, this could be a cigar that's been on the market for decades that you smoked for the first time in a very long time, or it could be a cigar that's brand new to the market that you smoked for the first time ever. Is there something that you guys have smoked recently that stood out to you?
I got one.
The CAO, they do an all Brazilian one. It's got like the
BX3.
The BX3, I think.
Yeah.
I like that cigar because I like Brazilian tobacco.
I believe it's the Espinosa Laranja, the orange band one. The Orange. Yeah,
that's a good one.
I like that guy.
Yeah.
I just fired my second cigar up. It's the Espinosa Laranja Oscuro.
Oh, the Oscuro, yeah, that one's good too. The orange band is the one that I like.
Oh, the orange band is lights out.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have took the easy button and chose Warfighter stuff.
Yeah.
Well, mine is the 5th anniversary of OJT, and they had Stolen Thrones make it for them.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't bring you one.
Oh man.
Oh, you brought me a good glass of whiskey though, so you're forgiven.
So the 26th, they released it, and before the show, I was about to order 10, then we got in the show and I forgot. So I had to call him and say, "Hey, listen, do you got any more hiding around there?" So he goes, "I might be able to give you a couple, sell you a couple." So I got some, and it's fabulous.
Nice. Justin, what was your notable this week?
Let's see. I think I was over at Buddy's house. Oh, I was over at Pickle's house last weekend, and I had a Argos, the new release, Stolen Thrones from that event you guys got.
Oh yeah,
I didn't get to make it, but I had that. So thank you, David Crawford, aka Pickle.
Nice. For me, it was cigar I've liked ever since it came out. I haven't had one in quite a while. The Davidoff Winston Churchill Late Hour. Just had that middle of last week, and yeah, it's just one of those cigars. It's like every time I smoke it, I'm like, yep, these are really good. I wish I could afford to smoke those things every day, but it's a good every once in a while cigar, I think, and actually lower price point than a lot of other Davidoff stuff.
I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
So on that cigar, you brought up Winston Churchill, and so that is a figure that is very prominent in the cigar industry.
Oh yeah,
but it was years ago. It wasn't like anything recent.
Yeah,
and we don't really have like a new Winston Churchill. What do you think has to happen in the world for the industry to have a new Winston Churchill?
Wow, what a question. Holy shit.
We have to have a politician that gets behind cigars and actually smokes cigars in public.
Right.
And then we have to have a World War III.
What?
Yeah.
Well, let's try to avoid that. But, you know, like that first part is just killer. Like, do you think that in our lifetimes that we'd experience that?
I think Ted Cruz smokes cigars.
But somebody that would do it publicly.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Yeah, somebody who is like part of their it's almost part of their
personality.
Churchill, it was part of his personality.
Rudy Giuliani.
But yeah, even that
but I mean, like they used to come up with like oh, he used to put a paperclip in it so the ash hung on.
Right.
You know, it's like no, it was just a decent cigar. Like
lots of comments here. So we got Andy Garcia, Jesse Ventura, Arnold. That's close. Arnold's
close.
Are we talking about a political figure that would do it, or just
okay?
Both of those kind of were.
It doesn't really matter the position that they're in. It's somebody that has an impact like Winston Churchill had or has in the industry. You know what I mean? Like, to get to that level, like, I don't know if Arnold could do it or
does it have to be a politician?
No, but somebody that can get to that notoriety.
Well, most of those people, their name is the brand.
I know, right?
Like Padron. Like,
Well,
you know what I mean? Like it's
But here's one outside of the box answer that I have, and it's not a politician. It's actually he's somebody that is widely in the public eye.
I know who you're going to say too.
Joe Rogan.
Yep.
Okay.
Because he's one of those people that he has. I mean, one of the reasons I like to listen to his podcast is because he'll have people from every possible walk of life on there.
Yeah.
Right.
He'll have people on the left, people on the right, scientists, comedians, actors, writers, psychologists.
And he doesn't give a fuck what you say about him.
No, he does not. And he on that show, he maybe not every episode, but for the last few years, he'll have a cigar at least every third episode.
Yeah.
But he talks about cigars regularly.
I think with us being in the industry, we notice this, and with everybody else that isn't like, our average cigar smoker, they know Joe Rogan as weed and shrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I get where you're coming from. Like, he'd be a perfect candidate. Like, just Joe, smoke more cigars.
He's too healthy.
Smoke more cigars, bro. That's it. You need like 6 or 7 a day in public on everything that you do, and then we might get to that Churchill status. Come on, man.
That's the thing. There's a channel, on a whiskey channel on YouTube where they were like, we're gonna do the Winston Churchill diet for 24 hours. So they said we're gonna drink everything he drank, eat everything he ate, and smoke everything he smoked.
Yeah.
And they were on the floor by like 2 p.m.
But you don't see a Joe Rogan diet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if Winston Churchill has a diet that people follow today, like,
I would rather do the Winston Churchill diet.
100%. 100%.
Who wouldn't rather do that diet?
Like, it's Joe Rogan. He eats meat. That's it. And then he talks about his poops. Like, no, I'm good. Winston Churchill had a way better life.
I think we need that though, honestly, and specifically in politics. I think we need somebody in politics who finally
we need somebody with a beard. We need to bring beards back.
Yeah.
Beards. I'll go run, guys. I got
this. Seriously, I'll vote for you, bro. Let's do this.
Justin's got this. Yeah, we need somebody who's in politics with a beard, who is outspoken, or not even outspoken about the fact, but just completely public and open about the fact that he's pretty much always got a cigar lit up between his fingers or in his mouth.
Like, they need to sit down for like a debate, and he needs to be smoked.
Well, the problem is now you can't smoke wherever you go.
If I'm a presidential candidate and I'm going to do a debate, I don't care what you can mute the mics, you can do this, you can do that, you can script every question, but if I can't smoke a cigar on that stage, I'm not doing it.
Well, that's why you're probably not there.
Well, 100%. That's why I'm not there. That's it. That's the only reason.
That would be a good thing to say. Hey, I'm happy to debate so and so, as long as we hold the debate at.
As long as I can smoke a cigar inside.
Yeah, as long as I can smoke a cigar from my podium. I'll be 20 feet away from you, so you don't have to smell the cigar smoke.
Yeah,
and
I like it.
We can have a rabbit air, set up right behind you, or right in front of you, so you don't have to, or right next to me, so you don't have to smell the cigar smoke. But that's what I do when I'm working, when I'm doing whatever. I have a cigar in my hand, so
I think we're onto something.
It would be fabulous.
They just smoke a cigar together, in Congress, and we'd be some shit would get done, is what we're saying.
Right.
Well, you'd realize real quick, a lot of people have no idea what they're doing. They turn green.
I'm all for it.
I know. Let's go.
Congressional cigar night. That sounds
right.
Awesome.
That was a great question. I love that. All right, let's do coming attractions brought to us by Hoagland Insurance. At Hoagland Insurance, they are excited to serve and educate any new customers and give existing customers a refresher. Whether it's a business policy, auto insurance, home policy, or life insurance, if you are currently insured or just looking for a quote, Tony Hoagland and his team would love to create a personal price plan just for you. Mention How About That Cigar when you make your first appointment, and Tony will have a free cigar just for you. For more information, please call 763-421-4900 or visit ChamplinInsurance.com. All right, September 16th, we have HDA Cigars, Hermanos de Armas, Brothers in Arms. Cannot wait to have those guys on the show. September 12th, a reminder, Cigars and Baseball coming up in just a few days right here in St. Paul, Minnesota. September 30th, we have Storm Bowen from Cigars and Warriors. Cigars for Warriors, sorry.
And the 25th, we have our two vets coming in from the fire department.
We do, yeah. So, and are we going to do that right here in the studio?
Right here.
Fantastic.
Are we going to fit two more guys in here?
I might set up the poker table. We'll have plenty of room.
What branch are they?
One was airborne sniper.
Army?
Yep. And the other one is Marines.
Oh, they'll be fine. You just give them one chair, they'll share it. Everything will go great.
Nice. So, guys, thank you so much for being on the show. If you would please give our viewers and listeners an idea, where is the best place for them to keep up with everything going on with Warfighter Tobacco Company?
We got our website, warfightertobacco.com. Facebook is Warfighter Tobacco. Instagram is Warfighter Tobacco.
Twitter is Warfighter Tobacco.
Yeah.
YouTube is Warfighter Tobacco.
We do our own podcast too, Warfighter Tobacco.
The only one that's different is TikTok. It's Warfighter Co. Because we got banned with every other thing we've tried so far.
True, yeah.
This is like our 8th or 9th account, I think, at this point. Yeah. It's fun.
Chinese. I blame the Chinese.
It's China.
Yeah.
You know why I like TikTok? I purposely talk shit to China on my phone, and I know they can hear it.
Like he doesn't watch He doesn't watch anything. He just opens the app and he yells at his phone.
Yeah.
And you guys mentioned that you're in about 300 shops right now. Do you have a retailer locator on your website?
We do.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yep. Right on the top of the website, we have a tab that says dealer locator. That'll show you all the shops that are close to you. If you don't have any shops that are close, go to warfightertobacco.com. You can find everything right on there.
Fantastic.
And then if you have any questions, we have a little chat bot that's on there, or you can just send us an email, info@warfightertobacco.com. There's a phone number listed on the website too if you want to talk to Dave.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything? I think I got everything. We do a podcast, Warfighter Tobacco Podcast as well. That's on all the podcast platforms. We try to talk about a little bit of everything. A little bit of cigar related stuff, a little bit of behind the scenes type stuff. We've had other reps and brand owners on. We've had veteran influencers, a little bit of everybody. Like we talked about this whole show, this little thing right here just breaks that barrier and opens up that conversation. So we try to use it. It's a tool. We have to use every tool in our tool bag.
Yeah. Amen. Well, thank you guys so much for being on the show, man. We had a blast talking to you and learning from you. So
no problem.
Thanks for being on.
So we're going to have to get you guys cigars, and then we're going to have to do this again.
Oh,
We'll talk afterwards.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so sit tight. We'll be right back.
All right, viewers and listeners, guys, thank you so much for being the best part of How About That Cigar Live. So grateful to you guys, as always, for joining us here on Facebook and YouTube and
Rumble
and Instagram and all the other great places. Take just a minute, guys. It really does help us out so much if you click on the subscribe buttons. So make sure to click on subscribe. If you're on YouTube, click the bell so you don't miss anything we have going on. If you're on Facebook, make sure to click the follow button. If you're on Rumble, make sure to click the follow button. I don't know if Rumble is follow or subscribe. I honestly don't know. Yeah, subscribe on Rumble. And all the other places, so you guys don't miss what we have going on. If you have questions for us, you can email myself, Raul, or Justin from the website, howaboutthatcigar.com. Follow us on all your favorite social media platforms at HBT Cigar. And of course, until we see you guys next time, burn cigars,
not bridges.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Any comments, opinions, viewpoints, or statements presented or uttered by guests on the HBTC podcast, HBTC live video streams, and all other media from HBT Media LLC are solely those of the individual and do not necessarily represent the opinions or viewpoints of How About That Cigar or its parent company, HBT Media LLC, any of our advertising partners, or the premium cigar industry. The primary purpose of How About That Cigar is to entertain and to encourage activity and growth within the community of people who enjoy or want to learn about the enjoyment of premium cigars.